Radio Rahim here at your call on. Seems fair. Your call on Casual Wednesdays with Eddie Hearn. Man, listen, it seems like there's a bit of boxing musical chairs going on right now in the sport, and you're spinning the records.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, every time.
I'm too busy to even worry about this.
Well, you seem to be getting a lot busier. You've got a huge stable already, but I'm reading over in America that Triple G has come to Matchroom. You have to talk to me about how that came about and what's the new approach then?
Well, the Triple G approach really came a long time ago from the Zone, where obviously we want to bring the best fighters to the Zone. Triple G, one of the pound-for-pound greats. I had a meeting with him. I introduced to John Skipper. We got moving, and I kind of left those two to it. Obviously, Triple G Promotions in existence. We kept talking, and he felt that, quite amazingly for us, that he would like me and Matchroom involved with his career and involved with his events. So it was an honour, really, because he could have picked anyone, and he picked us. So it was a big win. Derevenchenko's the first fight, and then we move forward after that. We want to put him in those big fights. He's in probably the final phase of his career now, the prime, when he wants all those big fights. Canelo, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Demetrius Andrade, they're all there for him.
Well, there was much press discussed about his impending fight with Canelo, the rubber match that he was promised that on Matchroom. Apparently, they weren't able to deliver it.
Not on Matchroom, but he was.
Or at least he was promised that on DAZN, and now I'm thinking Matchroom maybe is involved because you can get it done.
We want that fight because it's the biggest fight in boxing, and also it's the fight that DAZN wants. DAZN wants the fights that's going to create the most amount of interest, drive the most subscriptions. That's Canelo Triple G. But Canelo isn't going to be told what to do. Do you know what I mean? So when Canelo says, yes, I'll fight Triple G now, that will happen. But until then, and this is, I think, one of the sort of mindsets behind Triple G was let's take control of our own career. Let's not wait for people. I'll be waiting on Canelo. No. We're going to fight Derevenchenko. You're going to win a world title. Then we're going to fight this guy.
Well, where's Tom Loeffler's place in all this now?
He's still on the team. He's been involved for a long time. And a lot of the work that we do will involve Tom as well. So I see all the sort of conspiracy theories, but Tom's still part of Triple G. But we're working with Triple G Promotions and Matchroom now to promote the shows and guide the career of Gennady Golovkin.
Now, much has been made of the kind of deals that Golovkin was willing to take just to get the Canelo first two fights. By a lot of standards, he may have gotten a raw deal just so that he could make the fight. Going forward, will your approach to his deal making be different than what he's experienced in the past?
Look, he's still very much the boss in this relationship between Gennady Golovkin and Matchroom. So Gennady's very experienced, he's very bright, he's going to do what he's going to do. Our advice is there, our strategy is there. That's the bigger thing, the strategy, to map out his career at these important stages. So, he wants the Canelo fight, he wants to fight everybody. As Triple G's never ducked anybody, and he wants to fight them all.
You and Oscar have had your back and forth over time, especially recently. Do you bring more leverage maybe to a negotiation with him? All right, what is your relationship like with him making fights? I mean, you're both on DAZN.
Yeah, it's decent. I mean, I don't think Oscar's got pictures up of me in his house, but I think we have a good relationship with Golden Boy. We're on the same platform. We should be trying to make as many fights together. And I haven't seen anything that makes me think we won't so far in a relationship. So, I like the guys. I like Oscar. I like Eric. I like Robert Diaz. And we just made Jacobs against Canelo. Before that, we made Rocky Fielding against Canelo. We'd like to make Triple G against Canelo, or Demetrius Andrade against Canelo, or Callum Smith against Canelo. So we've got a lot of opponents for them, but Canelo's going to do what Canelo wants to do. So we have to worry about our own business, and if that opportunity arises, take it with both hands.
It seems like if Canelo isn't game for Triple G, even after the Derevenchenko fight, and I expect he'll fight Kovalev, is Canelo, is Triple G then in line again for unification with...
Demetrius Andrade, that's a tough fight. Callum Smith's a tough fight. Billy Joe Saunders is a tough fight. We've got all those fights for Gennady Golovkin. Got Danny Jacobs rematch as well. So we've got a lot of opponents for him. And if he can't get Canelo, all of those names come into play.
Now, a big name that's out there that's saying he's talking to you, and I want to find out how true this is. Mikey Garcia has been in the press saying that he's discussing signing with you as a promoter. He's long said he didn't want a promoter. He's not going to do promotion. Where's that conversation at?
The conversation is good. We've been talking for about a year, really, from when DAZN launched. He sort of was interested about DAZN and us, didn't know anything about it. And obviously, as we've accumulated the best stable in boxing, now he's sort of looking at it going, oh, maybe I need to be in there. So it's just a case of who he's going to fight, when he's going to fight. We need to look at that, and we're talking. We're continuously talking.
Have you discussed whether or not he would stay at welterweight? It would seem like that'd be the toughest division.
For me, 140 is the right weight for him right now. He still wants to fight Errol Spence again. He wants to fight Pacquiao. He wants to fight them all. So we'll see what happens. But Mikey Garcia is a good man and a great fighter as well.
Obviously, the big fight on the cards that it's coming up in Saudi Arabia, which nobody really saw coming. Joshua Ruiz. What's the backlash been like? Having made that fight there and having to defend that place for such a huge event?
I get backlash every day, so not really anything new. Obviously, I knew it was coming. It wasn't like
this is going to be a bit more than you're used to.
Yeah, but we've had the Dillian Whyte situation. We've had Joshua losing. We've had this. So you just become immune to it in the end. So I knew there was going to be criticism. A lot of the criticism's frustrating because some is valid and some is not valid. But what I know is that there's been major heavyweight events over the years in places of strange destinations with lots of opinion on those countries. They've gone down in history as the biggest in heavyweight history, and that's what this event will do as well. Next week is the press conference, Saudi Arabia, New York, London. You wait and see. This is a fight where the whole world is going to stand still and watch, and it's going to bring the whole of the Middle East into our sport. People spending a lot of money. Great news for the fighters, great news for the business, that countries outside of the traditional markets are now investing heavily in our sport.
I've heard tell that they're going to build workout facilities and kind of just have an area that's separate and apart kind of from the country, just special for this event. First of all, is that true? And is Matchroom or are you guys doing anything to mitigate that criticism? I mean, the criticism we don't have to...
Because we've been there and we've looked at the history and look at the people that are staging major events there. The WWE, the Royal Rumble, much bigger than Matchroom, with all due respect. Formula One, the European Golf Tour, the Tennis Super Cup, the Italian football. David Guetta the other week, 70,000 people in sold-out concert, 50 Cent, Janet Jackson, all these people performing there. We're just a small part of this new invasion of sports and entertainment into Saudi Arabia. So what we're doing is we're telling people say, oh, you can't get in. Yes, you can. When you buy a ticket, you get a visa. It's not difficult. Oh, women aren't allowed. Of course they're allowed. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of it's just convincing people and telling them the truth about certain aspects to say, oh, right, I've been. I went to the World Boxing Super Series out there. It was fantastic. Right? That's another one I mentioned. World Boxing Super Series. Amir Khan. Where was the criticism when World Boxing Super Series went? Where was the criticism when Amir Khan fought out there? No, because it's Matchroom, it's Eddie Hearn, and it's a big heavyweight event. So that's the criticism. People have been trying to do a major deal for a mega fight in the Middle East for 20 years. No one's pulled it off. Now we have. Unfortunately for us, that means we're going to get all the initial criticism, and then everyone will follow suit.
And lastly, on this subject, who gets the advantage there? It's not Joshua's home. It's not Ruiz's home.
No one gets the advantage.
But
no one gets the advantage. There's going to be 14,000 people there. These aren't, these are people. They do have TVs. They do watch sport. They do know who Andy Ruiz and Joshua are. So it's going to be pandemonium for both guys. Joshua's going to be very popular out there. So's Andy Ruiz. These people are there to celebrate sport. I don't know if you went to the Super Series final.
I wasn't there for that.
Okay. Everyone was supporting Groves and Callum Smith. It was mad. They know boxing, and what a chance to 40 million people live in Saudi Arabia. 70% of them are under the age of 24. There is a very, very strong sporting community of people that love the sport of boxing.
So with that said, there's no greater place for Joshua to fight than England, maybe Wales, How was he about making this choice? Was it just all about money?
No, it was about something different. He's always said, I want to box all over the world. Right? We've looked at the Middle East for a long time. We've had a lot of approaches for Joshua to box out there. The money was great, I'm not going to lie to you. But also, Ruiz was moaning about Britain. And, so we looked at a neutral venue. This offer come in, the timing was right, and we said, let's do it. And again, we've got to realise Wales is a great place. It's still Wales. Do you know what I mean? Right. There is another world out there. Right. So we're just naive enough to say, well, Britain and America, that's boxing, isn't it? So what? So a new country wants to come in, spend more money than anybody else to bring the mega fights. What are you going to do? No. You know.
We've heard Joshua say that he's not going to fire anybody on the team. He's taking this thing as diplomatically as you possibly could, even with a smile. I'm not sure I believe it, though. I think behind closed doors, this has got to be a very emotional time for him, and it has to make him recalibrate, if not his team, his approach. Behind the scenes, what's it been like getting through this defeat, planning this new fight? What's his attitude looking forward?
It's been tough for him. He's been devastated. He puts on a brave face. He got criticised in the ring by people saying, "Oh, he didn't seem to care." Trust me, no one cared more than Joshua about losing. So he's had to use that energy and that fire to come back and bounce back. He won't part ways with Rob McCracken. Will there be some additional input in the team? Maybe that's one for the team. Do you know what I mean? But he'll make sure he gets this right. He didn't have any fear in that last fight. He wasn't bothered about fighting Andy Ruiz. Now he wants to knock him clean out. So let's see if that makes a difference. But he will be a lot more focused this time around.
I know it's been a while, but I haven't talked to you since then. There's all this press and hubbub about what happened behind the scenes with you and Joshua and his father and all of this. Was there strife there, or are you taking some of the blame for this?
There was no issue with Joshua in the build-up. There was no issue in the change rooms, other than he changed his groin guard just before he walked. That's why he was about 2 minutes late. The dad wasn't happy about a number of things, and I was the biggest and closest person to him. So he had a little bit of a pop at me and about 4 or 5 other people in the change room. He's just watched his son get beat, get stopped in a boxing fight. It's quite an emotional time. Again, knocked out in sparring, panic attack in the changing room. No. The problem was he wasn't panicked enough. That was the problem. And he was too relaxed. He wasn't up for the fight, but he trained hard. He wanted to win, but it just weren't there. But can it be there in a rematch? Got to make sure it is.
Have you and his father mended fences?
No,
have you had a discussion?
It's not one where we feel like we need to sit down. I've known his dad. He comes to all his fights, and after every fight, we embrace, and he says thank you. And then this time around, he wasn't happy with the ref. Some of the accommodation that he felt AJ should have been in the hotel. There's loads of stuff, but it's one of them things. Emotions run wild on a night like that, especially when you're in New York and everything's, and he felt the ref stopped the fight too early and all sorts, but all's cool.
One guy that is definitely sitting in the wings and has had his whole table upset is Dillian Whyte. Again, something pure out of left field. I think everybody was shocked by this. But it seemed to be radio silence here since it happened. Where are we with this? You promised that the truth would come out and these things were inaccurate. How?
It will. The reason it's radio silence is because it's a legal case that is private and confidential until there is a final decision on everything. What has come out is the fact that Dillian Whyte was requested to attend a hearing by UCAD to decide whether he should be allowed to fight against Oscar Rivas. He had that hearing, he provided all the necessary information, and he was cleared to fight. They're not going to clear a guy to fight if they believe, 1, he's cheating, or 2, he's got something in his body that is performance enhancing. So put that in your mind and rest on that. I can't say anything because it's confidential between Dillian Whyte and UCAD while this is all being resolved. It will be resolved, and there will be a full statement from everybody, and I believe Dillian Whyte will be 100% cleared. And if he is, when he is, respect that. There's too many people jumping to conclusions. Understand that he had a trial in front of a national anti-doping panel who decided that he was cleared to fight. They wouldn't have done that without grounds. They wouldn't have done that without reason. And that will come out once the whole case, if you like, is all closed.
So you feel like he got a raw deal?
I think he got a raw deal. I think that he needed to explain himself. He needed to provide evidence. VADA, the testing agency, thankfully produced all the results they needed to prove what needed to be proved, that, like I said, he was not cheating and he was not had anything in his system at any levels that would have been performance enhancing. So he was clear and safe to fight. That's what they decided. It's not me. This is a national anti-doping panel. So you have to ask yourself, why did they clear him? Perhaps he provided evidence to clear himself or to give them comfort. So once this is all wrapped up, now I think the reason it's so slow is it's pretty serious. This is Dillian Whyte's career. It's not just someone you just come out of a statement and go, yeah, they want this, has got to be absolutely thorough. This is Dillian Whyte's career on the line here, So it's not me, loudmouth, coming out and say, yeah, what happened was this. I break a confidentiality and I fuck Dillian Whyte in his process with UCAD. So I can't say what I want to say, but when it's out there, I will say it, and it won't be long.
And lastly, time waits for no man. Fighting is a young man's game. You can't just sit around on the sidelines forever. assuming that you're correct and he's cleared, what's then the approach? I mean, this thing will still hang over your head. You'll still have to.
He'll be mandatory. He'll be mandatory for the winner of Wilder Fury.
Still.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. They can't take his mandatory position away if he's cleared by everybody. You know, right now, no one can do anything. He was cleared by the British Boxing Board of Control, and he was cleared by UKAD. What is there to ban him for, suspend him for at the moment? Nothing. If something comes out in a, in the case, if you like, with UKAD, maybe he does get suspended. But right now, he's been cleared by everybody. So
You're confident he's innocent?
I believe so, yes, because this is a guy, you do got to look behind the scenes. This is a guy who pays $30,000, $40,000 to make sure he's tested beyond levels you cannot be tested at. Do you know what I mean? And I know that he made a mistake once and he's paid for it ever since. And he is so meticulous about everything. You know, he's up at Loughborough with all the doctors and the scientists and and what this proposed substance is just, it's like you wouldn't take this substance. So let's see what comes out, and I believe he is innocent. I believe he'll be cleared.
Does he get that fight instead of Fury, assuming he's cleared? Can you force that hand?
I think that they'll fight, and he'll be mandatory for the winner.
Radio Rahim with Eddie Hearn at your call. Thank you for the time. It's been a long night. See ya. Cheers.